Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to the stream that is definitely not late. I did not forget what day of the week it was. No, that would be a silly thing to do. I didn't get distracted by listening to a new episode of a podcast. That didn't happen either. It's Friday, the 18th of December, and it is 12:10. I am kind of thinking of changing the streams to 12 o'clock. So I know I missed Wednesday stream. So if you've missed a couple of streams, a couple of weeks ago, so a week to 2 weeks ago, somewhere in that region, what is time, I quit my job. And I quit my job so that I can focus on looking after myself and healing, and there's a lot of things I need to do to start working to manage my pain, especially. And after I did that, it's like something in my body mind went, oh God, you're right, we're ruined. And then everything kicked in. I had a really intense pain flare. I've been utterly exhausted every day since then. And I honestly think it's like my body mind had been holding on for so long. And it just finally went, oh, and then just fell over. And I'm trying to let it do that. That's why I didn't feel bad just not streaming on Wednesday. I don't feel bad that I'm late today. One of the reasons I'm late today, so I wanted to talk about, because obviously this period of time, I'm not sitting comfortably, hold on. Maybe I want to put this up a bit, there we go. One of the purposes to this period in between my master's and my PhD is to get myself into a position where when I then start my PhD, like I've got everything ready. The notes we're typing up today, that counts towards that. Things like making sure I know how to take notes well and know how I'm going to organise my PhD in Scrivener, and things like that. All of that prep I've been doing is part of it. And part of that prep is making sure I'm in a state of well-being that is conducive to starting a PhD. So one of the things, obviously, in these past couple of weeks, I've lost all of the stuff I've been working on. I've just about held on to sleeping or trying to sleep at the same time. Just about. So what I've been doing with that is I've been getting out of this room, not specifically off screens entirely, but out of this room at 10 p.m. every day. And I have managed that. It's a little bit after sometimes on raid nights because my raids finish at 10 p.m. So sometimes if we do one last pull, I'll be a bit longer, that sort of thing. But most of the time, also it evens out because some days I log off earlier to go watch Witchcraft and Wizardry on Table Story. I'm just going to shout out Table Story, by the way. Because they're amazing and their shows have gotten me through like this year, basically. I didn't even find them until like halfway in the year, but if you like tabletop role-playing games, if you like Harry Potter but have an uncomfortable relationship with it now because of J.K. Rowling's transphobia, I really recommend going and watching Witchcraft and Wizardry. It's actually just finished for this year, so go catch up. It's on YouTube as well. But yeah, so it's a tangent, but a really good one. So one of the reasons I'm late is last night I was in the bath. The first time I've had a bath or shower in like 5 days. That's how bad it's gone. When my depression was worst, that was one of the main things I couldn't get myself to do is bathe. So it very much felt like a sort of regression into that. But I was in the bath and sometimes I get this feeling where I'm ready to start trying again. Like where I've let myself have a period where I can go, just do whatever. And then I get to a point where I'm like, no, I'm ready for this now. I'm ready to go and give this another try. And I made on Google Keep, which I'm trying to use now for notes, a list of all the problems I have. So that can be symptoms, that can be like I listed being overwhelmed. That's one of the things, but it includes things like my pain, my fatigue, my a lack of comfort with my body as it is right now, all sorts of things, but sleeping problems, everything I could think of, and I will keep adding to it. And then I made a list of solutions, and because some of the solutions overlap, like for example, I want to meditate more, but that actually deals with several of those things. And that I would write what the solution was, what things it helped with, and what the plan was or the strategy was for putting that into place. So for example, with meditating, part of my strategy is, so I have a Headspace subscription. I really like Headspace. I like all of the voices on it. But I've had trouble recently finding a course that is what I need right now. I've tried a few and they haven't quite. I tried they've basically got a course for chronic pain management. And I'm in too much pain right now for it to help, because what happens is it asks me to focus on my pain, and then I just can't do anything but focus on my pain, and I get really upset because I'm in so much pain. So I can see that being a thing that helps me down the line, but not right now. I think a lot of these things I'm looking at and going, okay, this is... So for example, one of the things I listed was my appointment with a pain management clinic. And I almost need that one to happen before I can do several other things. There's no point in me trying to do the strength training I need to do right now, because my body is too painful for me to do that safely, or in a way where I'll actually be able to do it regularly enough, even with building it up slowly. So yeah, some of them have got an order, but all of them I've got a strategy for. This is what I need in order to do it. This is the stuff that is gonna help me do it. And some of that's things like one of the things I'm doing along with my best friend. So I have an accountability thing, and then there's some things that I'm like, no, I need to get professional help for this. Actually, strength training is one of those things where I do plan to get a personal trainer. I want to try and find a personal trainer who has experience working with people with chronic pain, so that I can say, these are my problems, this is what I need help with, please tell me what I should do. Because a lot of the barrier for me is having someone to be accountable to, but also, you know, I've got a really niche situation and I need an expert to help me put together what I should do in my case, because I'm hypermobile as well. The things I need are different to the things that someone else with fibromyalgia might need. And but yeah, so I had that lovely plan and I was going through and planning all of that, and I went, the first thing I need to do is get my morning and night routines back, because they were helping so much. I've only just lost them and I was doing really well with them, so I can get them back quite easily. And so this morning I got up, I'd written my list of my morning routine and made myself go through it in order, so that you know, I actually didn't have to think at all. My clothes were there because I'd put them out the night before, so I got dressed and then I went downstairs and had breakfast, and I'd already decided what I was having for breakfast, so I just was putting it together and not really having to think. And I decided I wanted to have some time just like gently doing a jigsaw puzzle and listening to this new podcast episode. And it was a really good episode. And I didn't really pay attention to what the time was. And it was already 10:30 when I got up. So that's how we're here. That's how we got here. And I honestly didn't realise. I think I didn't realise it was Friday. But I might move us to 12 p.m. Obviously, I don't know. We probably will have to adjust schedule once I start my PhD, because I don't know what. I think I get to decide all of my schedule, but I don't know. We'll see. So maybe I'll go for 12 p.m. and do 12 till 2, because that feels nicer. It means if I have a morning where I get up late on a stream day, I can still not, I don't have to rush, because when I start to rush through my morning and night routines, that's when they don't work. I think I have to stop watching some things live. I know I just shouted out Table Story. I'm currently watching 2 of their shows live, and one of them finishes at like 1:30, almost 2. I don't think I can do that anymore. I don't think I can even, I think I need to start watching both of them only to the break, or just watching them the next day. Yeah, but that, I mean, it's a good thing, because I got up and I did that. I'm in quite a reasonable amount of pain already. One of the other things I want to do that I'm going to sort out today. So I've been tracking my pain using an app called, is it just called Track My Pain? It might be, I can't remember, and I've uninstalled it now. Because the problem I was finding is it was having me track once a day. And it was a relatively simple way of tracking, but because you had to tell it all of the things that weren't happening, because it's an app, whereas if you're writing things down, you don't have to you just exclude them by not writing them. I was only doing it once a day. I was doing it at 9 p.m. every day, which is often the peak of my pain, because I think my pain starts, so I'm at like a 2 or a 3 out of 10 right now. And then it will get worse. And I've started to notice it gets abruptly worse from the mid-afternoon onwards, and then continues to get worse until bedtime, and then bedtime is awful. But I want evidence for that I can then take to the pain management clinic, so I can say, here, this is the pattern of my pain. What can we do in terms of medical interventions, like pharmacological interventions, to help get this under control, so that I can then introduce things like exercise and stuff like that to help. Especially because that has a really big impact on my sleep as well. So I'm ordering, I'm getting one of those page-a-day diaries that has the hours in, and then my plan is to set a reminder every 2 hours once I'm up. I don't know whether I'm going to do that with my trusty timer or something else, or like on my phone. But I want to, for a week at least, write down every 2 hours what symptoms I have. And I want to do that with all of the symptoms, because I'm also interested to see if my fatigue is worse at different times, because I think I tend to crash at like 4 p.m. And I'm interested to see whether that's because of when I'm eating, or because of what I'm eating when, or that sort of thing. And I think in order to do that, I need the data. So I'm going to gather the data and use that to try and get some help. But I think it sounds really silly, but if I have to sit and write down the hours of every day on a page, that feels like too much of I want it to just be there. I want to not have to think about it. I want to just be able to write down what my symptoms are. Just leave it open permanently on my desk or wherever, so I can just do it. That's my plan anyway. We'll see how it goes. Yeah, so that's kind of where I am. And then obviously I'm going to try and get my night routine back in today, and then just keep going on with that. I need to work out how I'm going to do that when I'm away for Christmas. I'm able to go safely away for Christmas, which is really, really important to me, because so if you're relatively new here, during COVID, my granddad died, and he was basically my favourite person in the family, and I don't think anyone will be upset at me saying that. He was my absolute hero. A lot of the things I do are because of his influence. And I wasn't, he didn't die of COVID, but I wasn't able to be there with my family through that process. He was sick for a couple of months leading up to it. And the only time I've seen my family this year is the funeral. So I am able to be with them for Christmas, which is really important, and I'm very glad. We're working very hard to make sure it's safe. There's only actually 2 households mixing, because as it happens, my mum and my brothers and my gran are all one household right now, or one bubble. So it's just me and my husband going up, and I'm very, very grateful that that's possible. Our government's rules around COVID are stupid and are very dangerous and are going to result in a spike. But I am also grateful that they're stupid, because for me it means I can go be with my family. I'm selfishly grateful that they're stupid. But yeah, so that's a kind of roundup of where we are. I know I've not done one of those for a while. It was partly because in the process of quitting my job, there was a lot of stuff I couldn't talk about. I couldn't talk about it here until it was public. And I can now talk about it. So yeah, I've had a lot of stuff where I'm like, this is really important to the process of what I'm showing here. But yeah, and I've had a few weeks where I think because I've been so fatigued, and when I'm tired, my brain weasels just completely go off on one. And I think that's left me with a lot of, who the fuck would want to watch this? Why am I doing this? What's the point of this? This is all bad. You know, stuff that I don't actually believe. I think this is great. I think this is really important. I'm actively making content that I've wanted to exist. I've been looking for, like, blogs of people who've been doing PhDs, but the PhDs are so varied. I need someone who's doing a PhD in England in a humanities course to be remotely similar to the experience I'm going to have. And I also need them to be chronically ill, because otherwise it's not... I don't really know what those... That just censors something. I think it might have just censored something. Get rid of that. Just in case. So I don't know what I have myself. I think I have standard censoring on, so who knows. But yeah, so it's I think that's going to happen again. I think it's going to happen even when because I feel like I'm in this interstitial phase, and I'm worried that I don't have good content right now. But I think this part of the journey is just as important a part of the journey as when the PhD has actually started. And there are things I want to do to make it better. I want you to not have to look at my taped up wall. The scarves fell off. I'm thinking of getting a green screen, and then I can put whatever I want behind me. This room is not big. It genuinely is. There's my desk. My desk is quite big, but my desk is in front of me. That's the wall behind me. The door is there. And then there's a bit more space to my left, but it's not really usable space. This is the third bedroom, which you would just about fit a single bed in. When we moved, the previous owners had bunk beds in here, and it was horrible because I don't know how the child got into the top bunk bed. No. Anyway, it's not a big room. But I'm gonna do something. In the meantime, we're gonna do some work. I have realised a couple of things. One, that this folder marked Intro to Medical Humanities is empty, which means that this entire notebook has not been digitised. Basically, what I want to do first today... Oh god, it is a full notebook as well, basically. I made so many notes during this course, because this was the course where I learned what the medical humanities were and fell absolutely in love. So I have a lot of notes. Basically, when we got... So I always used to feel a strong connection to and a weird disconnect from the character Hermione Granger, because she was similar to me in so many ways. I literally looked like her as a child. My hair was much bushier than it is now. And I was also bullied for being clever, and have a lot of things that resonated with me with her. But she always put loads of effort in, and I never really did. So it was really interesting to get to this master's degree and suddenly go, oh no, I am that ridiculous. I just have to care and be interested in what I'm doing. But yeah, I want to work out where we are with things, so I know that none of this is done. Then this is my dissertation notebook. Now, as you can see, a lot of this already has notes, and there's not as many notes in here. And also some of my notes are supervisions, which I don't need to type up. So that's, and some of it is where I was doing writing as I went along. So I'm trying to work out, I didn't actually ever make, did I make notes on theatre and its double? Might have done. Might be. Yeah, there's some in here. I'm trying to find in here the last thing. Where's shared fantasy? Okay, so I've typed up shared fantasy. Have I typed up gaming and culture? Yes. And play between worlds? Yes. Dangerous games? Yes. I can tell because the ones in here that have got arrows next to them means that I've got notes there. Okay, but As LARP Grows Up doesn't have anything, so there's not actually too much in this one. I've got this much to do. So if I put my, oh, sorry for elbowing my microphone there. I put that in there, and then obviously I've got my current PhD notebook. Say hello to Molly and Yasha. Which is not a huge amount because it's like 3 books. So that one I will do last also because that's the most current one. So I think what I'm going to do today is I'm going to do the dissertation notes because I think my medical humanities notes, oh actually this is 2 modules as well because I put my disability and illness notes in here too and there's none there either. So yeah, I'm gonna finish my dissertation notes today, however long that takes. So as before, I'm not gonna go on mute or anything for this, so I'm just gonna be here typing, talking, using my book stand, my cookbook stand. But yeah, so I think what I'm going to do for this is I'm going to put them all as, so this, As LARP Grows Up is an edited book of essays. So I'm going to put the notes, I do this different ways. If I've read a book and I've just gone in for a specific essay, I will tend to put it separately. But as with this one where I read the book, I read basically all the essays in the book, I'm going to just put them all as child notes. But what I will do is I will do things like this so that then I can see, I'll put the titles of the actual essays in, and then later on it's a lot easier for me to refer to them. I think most of these notes are going to be completely fine. I will skim them before I get through just to make sure that there's nothing that I don't want to show on the screen. And one of the reasons that, because obviously I'm done with my dissertation, but the reason I do still want to type all of this up is I think there's a chance I might talk about role-playing in my PhD as a non-normative form of narrative expression. So it could still be useful to me in the future, so we'll see. I've got his name somewhere with the correct symbol in. Haven't I? Or maybe I don't. Well, I don't want to go through all of the alt characters trying to guess which. Just gonna look it up. Because I don't remember it. Oh, 248. There we go. To put my... Don't feel like I'm quite in the right position, but I can't really tell why. Ooh. Also, I really need, and maybe I'll actually remember to do this time, to go back into the VOD and see if you can hear my furious typing. I don't think you can, because my microphone is, I can change the settings as to what direction it cares about. So currently it's just going this way. It's not omnidirectional. I think if it was on the omnidirectional setting, you'd hear all of this. I didn't really look into that fourth style very much when I was doing my dissertation. I kind of wish I'd had room to. I wish I'd had room to do a lot of things. 12,000 words is not a lot, even when you go over the word count. Okay, this one is one of the articles that made me very angry. Because it's a manifesto. Basically, all of the manifestos made me angry when I was reading them. And I think where I've taken these notes, you'll see me using different versions of LARP or ways of using the word / acronym. And that's because I tried to adhere to what the article had done. In my dissertation, I chose to use LARP as a non-capitalized word. And there's very strong opinions in the LARP community about how LARP is spelt and how whether it's an acronym or a word. I chose to go with the one that I'd seen in the majority of academia because I was writing a semi-academic thing. But it's definitely controversial and also very very based on like your field of LARPing and your nationality, the like area in which you do it. It's really interesting. This was the thing that really annoyed me about this article, is it was like basically shitting on mass market RPGs like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff like that, and calling them literally calling them lowest common denominator, which is just, it's very, in order to be a fan you have to, in order to be a nerd you have to, blah, which is very, very gatekeepy. Oh wow, what happened to my typing here? It's gone all over the place. I think I need to cut my nails. My nails are very long. I think if you look at that, you can maybe see a bit better how long past my finger my nails are. I like them this long, but typing becomes so hard. And basically I have to reach a point where I'm like, I want to type more than I want my nails long. I don't understand people who can have like the super long nails and still type a lot. I think it's different because I'm using like a raised mechanical keyboard. I think if I was typing on like a flat or smooth laptop keyboard, it would be very different because my hands would be very flat. But at this, I'm typing like with them, with them in more of a crab position, one might say. I don't know how long I'm going to go for today. Does it actually say her? No. Later on it looks like 10. That's what it says. And I did the same thing with the word role-playing in terms of, so I would write it not hyphenated and as one word. Some people write it hyphenated, some people write it as role-playing, as two separate words. And again, that's another thing that's interesting and also very much generational and geographical. And as you can see, I didn't have a lot to say about some of these. This next one is one I liked. This is the one that had the shoe example. The shoe norm. I think that's how you spell their name. I'm not 100% certain. But I do tend to check names, especially names from other languages that I'm not familiar with. That's literally what my notes say, by the way. And do that. I know I've quoted this quote on stream before because it's awesome. I'll just read it because it's amazing. If the game is considered standard fare, the most you get is probably something like, we have high ambitions for the quality of equipment. Sometimes in Norway, that means they have a genuine 40s fishing boat, but pierced noses are still okay. And sometimes in Sweden, it means all goddamn shoes need to be homemade. There was a big explosion in some years ago now in the British LARP community. In one of the big fest LARPs, there was a big blowout about shoes and the need for shoes to be in character. Interestingly, massive accessibility problem. If I wasn't allowed to go wearing like full-on walking boots, I wouldn't be able to go anymore. Because I need that in order to not be in absolute agony. So, yeah, it's very interesting. I don't know if that's spelt. I think it might be that. I'll just have to go with it. Oh yeah, so article used, after I'd just raged about the gatekeeping in the previous article, this one then literally used the word gatekeeping, but in a positive way. So I don't know whether the meaning of gatekeeping that I mean existed in then. When was Gamergate? Because I would imagine that 2015, okay, so way after this article was written in 2003. So like 12 years later. So it's very possible actually that gatekeeping didn't have that meaning at that point. But who knows? And it's an interesting thing to... I still wish I'd done more linguistics courses in my bachelor's degree, because I just find it super interesting. I follow one of my university's linguistics lecturers on Twitter, and she's really funny. But she does a lot of research into like memes and stuff. And I just find it so interesting. I might maybe I'll see at some point if I can go sit in on some linguistics lectures or look at some courses. My wrist is starting to hurt. How much more have we got? Oh. 3, 4. Oh. Oh. No. A lot of this is supervision notes. I think I'm going to finish this, and that's how long the stream is going to be. I'm going to finish this book of notes, because that will be really cool as well, because that'll have completely finished this book, and I will just have those 1 and a bit books left to do. And I'm hungry. I really need to cut my nails. I'm gonna do something a bit weird. I'm gonna have to write that a lot, so I'm just gonna copy that. That's not micro, it says meso. I think I just written macro, so I expected the next word to be micro. What's going on? I think now I want to be back a bit. Sorry for making the microphone shake a lot, by the way, and the camera. Where did that stray E come from? Right, I need to finish this note and then I need to give my hands a break. Oh, can do much, not can only do so much. That's very different meanings. Okay, I'm gonna open this next note, but I'm gonna take a break for a second because my thumb, especially like this bit of my thumb is really starting to hurt. So I'll take a moment and take a drink. Think about what I'm planning to do after this. It's too early to go play Animal Crossing because I put my Animal Crossing island into CST, so it's 6 hours behind GMT. And the reason I did this is that I kept missing stuff that was happening in the morning, and I want to play in the like mid to late afternoon, early evening. So at 3 p.m. my time, my shop opens and doesn't close until like 3 in the morning. So it's great for me. It's been working really well. I need to look up. I've got a knitting project that is made of several pieces, and it's the first thing I've ever made that's made of several pieces. You might have seen, if you follow me on Twitter or Instagram, you might have seen me posting some pictures. And it's made of many squares, and as I've knitted, the tension in my knitting has been very wildly different, and so I need to block it, which, if you're not familiar with knitting, is basically soaking everything in water and then pinning it in the size you want it to be, and leaving it there to dry, and then the wool basically remembers that shape, even if it's artificial wool, which is really interesting to me. I was worried that it would be one of those things because I tend to use synthetic wool, because I own wool products and leather products and other animal derived things. If you're not aware, I'm vegan, but I will only buy them secondhand. So you don't really get secondhand wool. I've bought wool in charity shops sometimes, actually, but very rarely, because I like knitting really chunky wool. I can show you some, actually. My chair can go all the way around. This is, I mean, you can see it's called super chunky. This is the thickness I tend to knit with. I can knit with thinner. I've got a scarf that I'm working on that's thinner wool. This is chunky rather than super chunky. And it's this sort of size. So you can see it's a lot more than yarn, what you'd call yarn. But it's a gorgeous, look at that. And it's super long. I've sort of put this off because this is I'm just knitting this for fun, and then it will become a present to someone eventually. But I've been knitting stuff for Christmas presents, and that stuff that I'm blocking is stuff that's Christmas presents, and then I have 2 baby blankets to knit. But now that I know how to do this, like knit squares and then put it all together, so the squares I've knitted for this, I'm making a dog blanket. The person I'm making for is never going to watch this. I'm making a dog blanket. It's a massive dog blanket because it's for a wolfhound, so it's not small. It's 49 squares, and they're all like this sort of size. They're not small squares. For those listening, that's like they're about 6 inches square. Yeah, so it's been a lot of knitting. But now that I know that technique, all of those I've just done with knit stitch, like just knitting every single row. So what I want to do for the baby blankets I'm making is I want to use that square, lots of squares and then put them together thing. But I want to do some squares that are just knitted, some squares that are knit purl, some squares that are knit purl, knit, or that, that sort of thing. So you've got different textures in them, because I think that could be really cool for, like, especially for a young child like starting to learn and interact with texture. I think that could be really interesting for them. My nephew loved the blanket I made for him, and that was not a very good. I didn't really know. I've never made a blanket before at that point. And it was with wool that was really hard to work with, and I would never use it now. So I did try to start knitting him a scarf from the leftovers of it, and I went, stuff is just so fluffy, I just can't. But yeah, so I've got my first experiment into blocking later, so I need to look up what I need to do and for how long and what temperature the water needs to be and stuff. And I've got an old yoga mat, and what I'm planning to just wholly give it over to knitting blocking, because what I want to do is I want to draw a grid on it so that it's easier for me to work out what size everything needs to be. And I want to do like lines an inch wide. It's a yoga mat, so that drawing that is going to take me a while, but I think it will be really useful in the long run. And then I've just got normal pins to hold it into place, which is hopefully enough. We'll see. The worst case is I've cleaned the wool before I put it in. Okay, let's. The last one I did was relation theory. But it's been really interesting knitting. I started knitting that before I got the really bad hand pain where I couldn't use my hands for a week. And I had to pause for it. And it's been a really good exercise in slowly learning to do something even when I'm in pain, not to do something even if it makes the pain worse. That's very different. But there are things I can do like knitting and typing actually to an extent, but typing obviously I have to limit and take breaks and stuff, where I was just like learning to be more at peace with the pain I was feeling and continuing regardless, and just it was a good way to accept that pain in the past few weeks, so that's been really helpful. Oh, my thumb is still painful. I mean, if we end up only having done an hour, I'm not going to mind too much. I don't want to push my hands, especially not this weekend. I've got work to do. I've got this knitting I want to sort out, and I've got I'm running Dungeons and Dragons for my family at Christmas, and I've got to finish making the map, which I won't say more about because there is a chance that one of them might watch this. One of them does follow me here, so it's theoretically possible that they could listen. If you are, no, I'm not telling you anything about the map. Yeah, I need to stop after this note. It's just such an annoying, it's a really stinging pet, not quite stinging, but it's a sharp ache. It's just so annoying. But I've gotten loads done. Gotten quite a lot done. And I could have just not turned up when I realised I was late. well, not being present in bathrooms, being present in both rooms. There's a small difference there. Right. Yeah. Well, I'm so close. What else do I have? Oh, there's quite a lot of notes in there. I will stop there because I will hurt myself. Well, I am already hurting. I will hurt myself more if I try and continue. So, wow, this makes me... Why is this lighting is making me look really red and yellow? I will stop there, and I will stop the stream there as well, because I've done a lot of talking already, and I've got nothing else to say for the for the last bit. But yeah, this is my last stream in 2020. It's been really lovely to start doing this again in 2020 and to find this weird corner of academic Twitch, which might just be me. But if you do, incidentally, if anyone watching this has any recommendations for other academic streamers, I would absolutely love recommendations. I don't even really mind if they're in different fields, but please do tweet them at me, drop them in chat when I'm live, whatever. I would love to. I found a lot of productivity and work streamers, but not specifically academic ones, and I would love to meet some more, especially if they're disabled, because then that would be even more useful to me. But yeah, it's been wonderful doing this. I'm really looking forward to sharing the journey of my PhD. I'm very scared. I'm very excited, and I'm very many things. The 18th of January is when my PhD starts, so I won't be streaming next week. Let me just do this, and then I can look at my own calendar and talk to you about it. I won't be streaming next week. Is Christmas. But I will be back on the 28th, Monday the 28th of December. And we will have, that week is 1, then another is 2, then another week. We will have 3 full weeks before I start my PhD. We will finish these notes, we'll get all of these notes done, finish reading the things I'm reading. I'm now reading The Dark Fantastic by Emily Elizabeth Thomas, and I've only just finished the introduction, and I'm already really excited. It's an amazing book. I'm getting a load more books for Christmas, which I'm very excited about. There's just something about holding a physical book. I was on e-readers for years, and I've gone back to physical books, and there's something about it that's just almost magical. I don't know. But yeah, and I've got some other plans, other projects that I'm planning on doing that I might link into the stream. I don't know. We will see how it goes, but I hope that the rest of 2020 goes differently to 2020 thus far for you. May it be filled with vaccines and sufficient money to live on, unlike the rest of 2020 for most people. Thank you very much for all of this. I know there's not many people around. It doesn't really matter to me. I've turned the view account off now. I can't even see the view account. I'm not worrying about it. It's the first time I've done that today, and it's been really, really nice. I feel so much more comfortable, actually. I know quite a lot of streamers do that, and I wasn't sure if it was for me, but it turns out it really is. So thank you for being here. Thank you for watching and supporting. If you'd like to see me when I go live again, please hit the follow button, hit the notification bell. Also follow me on Twitter. Oh, thank you, Great James. And I will post on Twitter when I go live. It's a teensy bit more reliable than Twitch notifications. Twitch notifications can be a little bit off sometimes, depending on the load that Twitch is suffering from. I have previously been told that a streamer I follow has gone live after they finished streaming. Come on, camera, thank you. But yeah, thank you very much for being here, and I will see you all in I won't see you in 2021. This isn't my last stream in 2020. I just said my next stream is on the 28th of December. I'll see you after Christmas. That's what I mean. It's been a very long year. All right, I'll see you all soon. Bye.